Queens Borough President Donovan Richards will get to serve a full term after being re-elected by voters.
He took office last November after Melinda Katz was elected the Queens District Attorney. The Borough President joins us now this morning. Congratulations on your election night victory,
Morning.
Borough President Richards.
Thank you. After 5, I'm just so elated that I won't have an election for like another
Who's counting?
4 years.
Yeah, exactly. But out of the 5 borough presidents, you're the only incumbent reelected. Everyone else is new to the office. So how does that feel?
I'm in a unique position. Obviously, I'm going to be serving out as the senior borough president now coming in. But it feels good to have a group of borough president candidates that I've worked intimately with, from Vanessa Gibson to Mark Levine in Manhattan to Antonio Reynoso. And we'll get to know Vito, obviously. But it is going to be a fascinating time to lead this borough and to work with my colleagues as we enter the new reigns, new term.
Yeah, Borough President, voters elected black men to key leadership positions all across the city, right? The mayor, public advocate, Manhattan District Attorney. Does that trifecta really signal a new era for New York City?
Well, it's a culmination of blood, sweat, and tears. I think back to individuals like Archie Spigner, who paved the way, Percy Sutton, so many people who poured into us and sacrificed for us to get here. So to see Alvin, to see Jumaane, to see Eric, it is really a historic time. It's our moment. And I often say that we need to get past taxation without representation. The people closest to the pain, obviously, are the ones who are closest to the solutions.
Well, let's talk about your borough. Queens, the most diverse borough and second largest after Brooklyn. So considering you have a large immigration population, we're dealing with the pandemic, what's the biggest challenge facing the borough right now?
Well, there are several things. One, we have to continue to get people vaccinated, and I'm happy to say Queens leads the city in vaccinations, 1.7 million residents. We now have to work with our children, because getting out everyone vaccinated obviously equals safety. It means that we can open up our borough. Infrastructure is a big issue. We saw the floods just a few weeks ago. We're continuing to focus in on that. I was with the vice president just this week, who came down to Queens to tout her infrastructure bill. And we look forward to working with the White House to make sure that that money reaches Queens. And healthcare, we need to see more beds in Queens.
Right.
One of the reasons COVID impacted us more is because of the lack of beds in Queens. So we need to see more hospitals, we need to see more access, and we need to see more investment in our current hospital system as well.
Right, but you can't do that alone, right? You have to do that with the help of local, state, and federal. So how have those conversations been going, and how is your relationship with Eric Adams, since he is now the mayor-elect and is going to really hold the purse strings for a lot of these things you speak of?
Well, Eric, I'm happy to say that I endorsed Eric Adams very early on in this campaign, but also me and Eric share a common goal in moving this borough forward. He's not a stranger. He doesn't need a GPS to figure out where Queens is at. And we've already started those discussions, during the campaign, after the campaign, and now it turned from campaigning to governing. And I'm pretty positive that Eric is going to be a major ally because he knows Queens well.
Well, you've been around for a long time, city councilman, et cetera, and on and on and on. So you know what the people want. You know what they're desiring in the city. So you've been hosting town hall meetings since taking office last year. So what concerns are you hearing from your Queens constituents?
The biggest thing right now, infrastructure. Safety is a big thing, although we are seeing a drop in crime. I am happy to say we did work with Mayor Bill de Blasio, Congressman Meeks, and Sylvina Brooks Powers. We're going to open up the first modernized precinct in Queens in a long time, the 116th, which is really going to show the city how we can work with the police department while also ensuring that we hold them accountable at the same time. Transportation is a big issue. I often say that you can get to Manhattan by train as quick as you can get to Florida by plane on some days coming from Queens County. So we want to see and work with the governor and the MTA to make sure that sound investment is being made in our transportation system as well.
Yeah, and also still on top of people's mind is COVID, right? And COVID vaccination rates in Queens, congratulations, are among the highest really across the city. But now we have this new wave, right? The children who are going to be able to get vaccinated, really, it's already begun. So do you have any details about how you're actually planning to roll out in Queens, or are you leaving it up to the city?
Yeah, no, we are already in the process of speaking with the health department. We're going to be, a lot of this has to do with education, and I'm the father of a 5-year-old who I'm about to drop to school in a little while. He's going to get inoculated. We're going to lead by example here. But it's critical that we educate parents and that parents know that, the vaccine is safe. So we're going to do a lot of education, a lot of town halls, a lot of what I call grunt work on the ground in communities, speaking to parents to let them know that they should get their children vaccinated.
It's good to know. And they will be out there today, right? They'll be out there today. I have a quick question to ask you. I know that in Corona, Queens, there were a lot of the immigrant population dealing with getting what am I'm trying to think. They're vendors, their vendor licenses.
Oh, treatment,
a lot
yes.
of them, they used to be restaurant workers that lost their jobs during the pandemic. What are you doing to deal with that, and how are you helping those folks?
Well, I rolled out a program with the New York Mets earlier last year with Steve Cohen, and I want to thank Steve and Alexandria for committing $18 million to Queens for small business grants, not loans. And one of the things I carved out through that grants program was assistance to street vendors. So street vendors actually were able to receive grant dollars to hold on, and we're looking to the Mets again, and I'm working with them to re-up some more money because that money ran out now. Over 700 businesses benefited. But we do need street vendor reform at the council level. I know there's been a lot of conversation, but we need to see these licenses expanded so that immigrants are not being, especially our undocumented, most vulnerable, aren't being targeted. So we look forward to continuing to support that bill in the council to make sure that street vendors have a pathway to legal street vending in our city.
All right, Queens Borough President Donovan Richards, we're out of time. You mentioned a GPS. Let me tell you, I've been to Queens many times. I still need a GPS because the 31st Street, 31st Road, 31st Avenue, 31st Place.
That sounds like a Brooklyn issue.
You can do something to change that. Let's see.
Help me out. All right, we'll see you next time.
All right, thanks
See you.
again.
Thank you. Good to see you all.